Yeah, it's been a while, everybody, but here it is, an actual episode that's a theory. Oh yeah, and you can go to the Fighterworks Factory if you want to see Kung Fu videos. Anyway, yeah.
The link will be in the description below. Check your browser history and watch your back, because NSA, I mean Gun, is watching. Welcome everyone to another episode of Sonic Theory.
Yeah, you've been waiting a long time for this episode, admittedly. This one is actually on Sonic Adventure 2, or Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, depending on which version you're talking about. Obviously, the difference between the two being the consoles, and I think some people like to tell me that Adventure 2 Battle had a slight graphical upgrade, but I can't actually confirm that. This was a game that was actually my favorite game as a child, and actually to this day is still my favorite game of all time. Today's episode, however, is going to be focusing on a very specific thing from that game. Something that a lot of people consider a plot hole, but we're going to explain here our thoughts on the matter. We're going to be talking about G.U.N.
You mean Sonic the Hedgehog's police force? 5-0, Boys in Blue, the old Bill, Po-Po, Whoop Whoop? 12,
well, yes and no. It's more of a government figure within the vaguely defined United Nations, and more or less they try to provide safety by any means necessary.
Droid, Patrol, Dognut Squad. Okay, so all I know about G.U.N is they have bad aim. And they always sit on their butts all day and make Rouge do all the dirty work. And they can't tell the difference between a blue and black hedgehog.
Hold it right there. That's actually what G.U.N wants you to think. Except the bad aim one. That one's true. The soldier probably lost his job. I don't know. But as I was saying before, G.U.N acts as a governmental figure for the United Nations. And Dr. Harold Damerow, a professor of government and history, states that the government is responsible primarily for making public policy for an entire society, or in our case, the United Nations.
Wow, so the government G.U.N Hold on, I'm sorry. That is an awesome name. Mistake Shadow as Sonic for protection reasons? Because there is no way anyone could mistake Sonic's identity when he was caught on camera. I mean, come on, once they saw Shadow, they could have just compared the image to the one on the camera.
To eyewitnesses at the scene,
wow, that camera's in color too?
Yeah. So I think I pick up where you're going with this. So the reason everyone can't realize Sonic and Shadow are two different hedgehogs is because G.U.N, the governmental protectors of Station Square, purposely covered up the issue of Shadow destroying the city and scapegoated Sonic to keep themselves from their past crimes, such as the process of Shadow's creation and the shutdown of Space Colony Arc. And this, obviously.
In fairness, I kind of expect there to be collateral damage when the military decides to use fighter jets against one hedgehog. I mean, honestly, I could easily argue that G.U.N caused more damage in the city than Shadow. But aside from that, G.U.N was involved with a large amount of conspiracies due to the high amount of deaths and civilian executions, and the things Ron previously mentioned. And I'm pretty sure G.U.N wouldn't have wanted to come out to the public with all this weighing them down.
So instead of acknowledging their mistakes, G.U.N went with the real government thing to do: shift the public's focus on something else and hatch a different plan into action to cover up their tracks.
And Sonic was the key to that new plan. Though, I admit, I question how much the G.U.N commander was actually in on this matter, but that'll be more for the next episode, hint hint.
Right, so while Sonic was in G.U.N's custody, he was sent to Prison Island, a place where G.U.N stored several Chaos Emeralds. Wait, hang on a second. Really, G.U.N? Really? A prison is the place you store highly powerful artifacts, and a place where convicts are also stored who are most likely in there because of theft?
Actually, I think there are multiple islands in the area, so actually, the prisoners might have not been on the same island as the Chaos Emeralds.
Oh. So, Shadow and Eggman were both after the Chaos Emeralds, and they even had a G.U.N undercover agent with them, helping them track down the Chaos Emeralds.
And the news of Sonic's arrest would surely attract Sonic's friends, ensuring they would come to the island.
Indeed, G.U.N clearly put Sonic at the prison island knowing his friends would come set him free, and that they would run into Eggman and company, and a fight will break out between the two teams, thus giving G.U.N the chance to arrest the weakened teams.
If that's true, the only hitch in the plan was that Eggman had thought one step ahead of G.U.N and decided to blow the island the Kingdom Come.
Do we have any footage of that?
Eggman doing so threw a huge wrench in their plans, forcing him to abort.
So in case you are wondering, yes, Gun knew that Shadow was Shadow and Sonic was Sonic. They were just instead using a very crazy way to draw Shadow and Sonic in the same area so they can take them all out. That's just a theory that I personally kind of like and think is true. But Dr. Black, you got any last words?
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but I don't really agree. I guess I better justify that statement. It's not often Ron and I disagree on something Sonic related.
The first time being on Tails' Artificial Emerald.
And so once again, I must correct you.
Excuse me?
So after recording the parts that Ron wrote for the first episode, I had a lot of questions.
Yeah, too many if you ask me.
You see, before when Ron wrote the first episode, everything he referenced as evidence that Sonic didn't make a good future came directly from the games or other official sources.
At that point, I told Dr. Black that I didn't have any concrete proof of anything, just my own ideas when I examined the story.
Which is fine, but even with that in mind, I didn't understand the conclusions you were coming to. You tell me that Gun wants to kill the main characters, okay, and you tell me that they captured Sonic as part of a cover-up to lure the characters in. And that would be so they'd fight each other and end up weakened so they'd be easier to kill. And you're saying the plan while ultimately failing due to Eggman's dynamite packs was for power?
Yes. In the universe at that point, they were the only ones who could challenge them.
Challenge them on what?
Whatever they want to do.
What would they be doing? Gun's not evil.
Are you kidding? They killed every researcher on the Ark.
Gun is a military faction. It answers to the government, or the commander-in-chief, aka the president. Gun isn't the government itself. If they do something they aren't supposed to, they're removed from duty, or if they refuse something, they're replaced by someone who's willing to play ball. In the military, it's either follow orders or buy.
So, the president at the time was evil?
No.
Are you serious?
Did you ever consider why those orders would be given? The president proposed the project, and helped fund it. Then Gerald worked with a dangerous alien species. The president was in a tough spot and made a call. This is just a giant gray area where no one's good or evil.
Oh, okay. I think I see where the disconnect between us is. For my theory to make sense to you, you would have to agree that Gun is evil.
That would also explain why in our discussion you referred to Team Dark as evil. Under your scenario, working for Gun would make them all evil.
Yeah. So what's your counter proposal?
Well, Gun did arrest Sonic to cover up Shadow.
Uh-huh.
Though the reason depends on whether Shadow is what we think he is.
Will that be a future episode?
Maybe episode 6 or 8. I'm not sure.
Sorry to interrupt. Go on.
No, that's it.
That's pretty boring, Black.
That's all I can conclude when sticking to official sources. The only other details I could add are that it's unclear where the president was. The current president, anyway. Actually, Shadow the Hedgehog suggests he wasn't. Also, part of me suspects the Gun Commander, or Abraham Tower as his comic readers call him, might have been fairly recently promoted after the higher-ups were fired following SA2 due to them keeping information from the president.
Now you see, that's more interesting.
But hey, that's just a hypothesis.
Theory.
Sorry, theory.
Yeah, conflicting theories.
See you guys next time when we discuss the Eggman. Okay, now your thinger, whatever you're doing here.
Okay, guys, thanks a lot for sticking through all this. I just want to give one. I hope that's very good.
Fruit snacks, guys. Great.
It's the best. We want to give one big thanks and shout out to ultraguy for giving me the idea and allowing me to use some of the notes for this theory. The link to his screwattack channel would be in the description below. Thanks again, dude. You're awesome.